Testing. Is this thing on? Oh yes, I can see the lights. Good. Where was I? Oh yes. Day 1, entry 1. The cages were delivered yesterday, and I've just finished installing them in the loft. Food storage has been a minor headache. I've stored it in the shed for now, which has meant I've had to store the lawnmower outside. I'm just hoping we don't get any rain until I come up with a better solution. Day 3, entry 2. I've successfully connected up the mini generators and it's looking good. No Neck Nige has been in touch and he said he can make the delivery next Wednesday. I'm to expect a call beforehand and they'll arrive about half an hour after that. His delivery methods worry me at times. If it wasn't for the fact he's the only one that can get the volume that I'm after, I seriously doubt I'd do business with him at all. Day 4, entry 6. I've just had a call from No Neck Nige saying that his boys will be arriving in about half an hour. Just enough time for me to check the cages. Day 4, entry 7. I'm absolutely shattered. They arrived with 372 of them in 15 cardboard boxes. I'm sure that wasn't the correct way to transport them. But then, it's not my profession, so I can't really comment. It took me about an hour to transfer them into the cages. They were surprisingly docile, considering they'd been uprooted, bundled into boxes, and then physically handled when I'd loaded them into their cages. It's almost as if they were sedated or doped. I'll have to monitor them carefully over the next few days to ensure they're active enough for my experiments. Day 6, entry 11. It's been a couple of days now and some of them have started to become quite active. It appears that whatever drug they used to sedate them is starting to wear off. I have to say, it's quite a sight seeing over 300 hamsters running around a massive network of cages and tubes. Day 7, entry 16. Things are looking good. All the hamsters appear to be fully recovered. Just a few final checks to the connections to do, and I'll turn on the generators. Day 7, entry 17. The moment of truth. I'm about to turn on the first set of generators. I've rigged up a large manual switch to allow it to cope with the heavy load that should pass through it. It's a bit reminiscent of the one Dr. Frankenstein had in his lab. Quite amusing, really, as he diverted power to his creation, whereas I'm directing power away from my experiment. This probably should have some element of dramaticism added to the historical event. So maybe a countdown is in order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And the meter reads... Oh, it's showing 0. That's odd. I think I better go and check up on the little critters. Well, that's rather disappointing. None of them were in their wills. Looks like I may have to do some behavioural studies and see what motivational things will encourage them to exercise. Oops, nearly forgot. Day 7, entry 18. It's rather alarming. I've worked out just how much food they're getting through. Not to mention the corresponding mess coming out the other end. On a separate note, as things currently stand, if I offset the cost of feeding them against the small amount of energy they're generating, I'm going to be broke very soon. It's 2:33 in the morning. I'm not sure what's happening, but the ceiling is vibrating like mad. Correction. I just stepped out of bed and I can feel the floor vibrating as well. I think I better check on the hamsters. This is incredible! All of the wheels are being used. If I didn't know better, I'd say that the ones not on the wheels were actually queuing to have a go. Yes, I know it's nonsense, but the whole thing has a regimented feel about it. Now that's odd. They stopped in unison and, as one, looked my way, saw me, then ran for cover. It's obvious now I come to think of it. They haven't been generating any electricity because hamsters are nocturnal. At least I now know they're capable of generating the power, even if it is at night when I don't need it. Tomorrow morning I will blank out the skylight and see if I can fool them into altering their sleeping habits. Testing to see if voice recording activation works. Yes, it seems to be recording okay. Good news! That's the window in the loft painted black. When I was putting the paintbrushes away, I noticed some of my tools weren't where they should be. I can't find them anywhere, which is quite odd. I'm usually so meticulous on where I leave them. I'm sure that they will turn up in a bit. The hamsters were quite active while I was there, but I don't know. They didn't seem to be behaving quite right. It looked like they were queuing for the wheel in an orderly line. 5 of them all stopped at the same time and got off and were immediately replaced by the ones in the queue. From what I remember when I was a kid, they didn't wait their turn. They just got in together and walked all over each other. Then again, childhood memories aren't the most reliable of sources. They never seem to actually reflect the reality of the situation. One other thought. While I was up there, it felt like I was being watched. No, watched isn't the right word. More like I was being studied. There are half a dozen hamsters who seem to be following my every move. And then every so often they'd lean across to each other and squeak like they were making comments. Now I've said it out loud, I've just realised how preposterous that seems. Nature's way of telling me I need to get out of the house for a bit. I'm beginning to think that one of the hamsters has become the pack leader. Do hamsters live in packs? I'm not sure. Anyway, its markings seem to be different to the others with its white stripe down its back. Oddly, it seems to be accompanied by 2 very large hamsters, one either side of it. The dark rings around their eyes give the impression that these 2 are wearing dark glasses. So far, the little bit of research I've managed to find on their behavioural habits hasn't really turned up anything to indicate its normal behaviour. I can only conclude that there haven't been any in-depth studies. On a separate note, I seem to have become rather absent-minded over the past few days. A parcel was delivered this morning addressed to me containing various electronic components. For the life of me, I can't remember ordering them, and now I can't even find the parcel. I've also mislaid my soldering iron, and a few other tools. I've just had a call from No Neck Nige asking if I would take a dozen beagles off his hands. It turns out his pal has freed them from the same science lab as the hamsters. Apparently it's all part of his animal liberation activities. He also mentioned they've been doing some kind of intelligence research there. I guess that would explain the hamsters' odd behaviour and why the 2 henge hamsters have grown so large. It's probably due to the weird cocktails of drugs they've had pumped into them. I'm rather pleased with the way they've transitioned from nocturnal activity to becoming active during the day. On the downside, the power output does seem to have decreased a bit. From my observations, that in itself is rather strange, as they seem to have become more regimented in their behaviour. I'd even go as far as to say it can feel quite intimidating the way they watch me when I'm in the room. That's odd. That building work seems to be coming from upstairs. There's no doubt about it. The noise is coming from the loft. I'm going to have a look. I don't believe it! They've connected the ladder to the mains and electrified it! If they think that's going to stop me finding out what's going on, they've got a shock coming. Right, for the recording, I'm wearing rubber gloves and rubber boots. Let's see if they can work that one out. So far, so good. I'm just below the hatch. It's rather dark up there. I'm just getting my torch ready, and... What the... Oh! Oh, I can't believe it! They struck me with a frying pan! I got a very brief glimpse of something that looked like a catapult with a long wooden arm and a frying pan at the end. After I fell, I could see them peering over the edge and watching me while some of them pulled up the ladder. I'm going to have to work on what to do next. It appears that the laboratory were not too upset about their hamsters being stolen. I haven't been able to find a single news story about the break-in, or that they were taken. I know that they would have wanted to keep the experiment secret, but I'm beginning to suspect they were quite relieved and probably couldn't believe their luck when it happened. It would also explain why they were so drugged up. It would have been the only way to keep them under control. And, if that theory is right, it makes sense why my tools went missing. Having seen they were able to get the ladder down, they must have found a way to drag the tools back up to the loft. It still leaves me with the problem of how I'm going to be able to control them. Both times I've tried to get into the loft, they've anticipated my actions and stopped me. Whatever I try next is going to have to be a bit more devious. I think they're on the move again. It's 1:30 in the morning and I can hear movement overhead. I don't know what they are going to do, but if the last two things are anything to go by, I need to be prepared. They've moved over to the loft hatch. I'm not sure if I should go and have a look or leave them to carry on with whatever they are doing. If I'm honest, I'm hoping they're just moving out. And if that's the case, I really don't want to disturb them. They're definitely on the landing now. With a bit of luck, they go straight down the stairs and out the front door. This doesn't look good. I can hear them gathering outside my door. I can see my door slowly opening. Oh my god! There appears to be well, the only way I can describe it is it looks like a remote-controlled version of the probe they placed on Mars the other year. Only this one has a robotic arm and a power drill attached to it. The arm is extending, and it's... wow! Oh! Fire! Where's my glass of water? That was close. They just attacked me with the drill. Fortunately, I had a book to hand. I managed to get it in the way and it clogged up the drill, which has caused the motor to burn out. Good job I take a glass of water to bed with me. I'm not sure how I would have put the flames out without it. There was no way I was going to go venturing out of the room with them out there. Who knows what else they have set up to attack me with? Tonight's made one thing clear. I can't have them in the house any longer. They've got to go. I know I can't get into the loft and clear them out. They've got far too many booby traps. But first thing in the morning, I'm going to work out how to get my own back on them. I'm so tired. I feel like I've slept with one eye open all night. The thought that they might make another attempt on my life was just too much. They definitely need to go. After a great deal of thought, I finally worked out what to do about the vermin. I've just got back from the DIY shop with a few supplies. I'm going to seal up the hatch and let the buggers starve to death. Let's see them try to get out of that. The rate they were going through food, I reckon they'll starve to death within the week. It's been 3 days since I nailed the hatch shut, and the scurrying across the ceiling has slowly reduced. Hopefully this terrifying episode is now at an end. I'll give it a few more days and then I'll check on them. I've just got back from the shops and I can smell gas. It seems to be a lot stronger in the kitchen. It's rather dark in there. I'm going to turn the light on and then...
I'm standing here outside the remains of what appears to have been an impressive stately home. Initial indications from the police suggest there appears to have been an explosion caused by a gas leak, which has completely destroyed the left-hand side of the mansion. Miraculously, the owner and sole occupant survived the blast. You can see him being led into the ambulance behind me. I'm going to see if I can get a word with him and find out what caused the gas leak. Can I have a quick word if that's possible? Do you know what caused the explosion?
It was the hamsters! We're not safe, I tell you! The hamsters must have moved out and then turned the gas on!
Hamsters?
Yes! Hundreds of them! They tried to kill me with the robot, and when that failed, they blew the house up!
Take it easy, sir. Please replace your mask and try to remain calm. We think he's suffering from concussion. The fire brigade have only just dug him out the rubble.
I'm not crazy! Look! Over there in the bush! You can see them!
Yes. As I've already said, the cause of the gas leak that led to the explosion are still unknown. I'm hoping to get further... Oh? Something's moving in that bush. I'm just going to have a look. How strange. I can see...
I do apologise to our viewers. We appear to have a technical fault with our outside broadcast. Hopefully we can return to them shortly.